Hello and welcome to this video, which is basically three videos in one, starting with a very small haul, a bit of a review, and just throwing in a bit of a sketchbook flip through towards the end there. So I purchased a few items from a store called Articci, which is located in Queensland. It has an in-person store you can visit on the Gold Coast, I believe, but also an online store. As you can see, I've purchased these online. And when they arrived, they had two free watercolor paints in there that were just a little gift. As you can see, they are the Artisan brand, and they are in medium yellow and vermilion. So I am incredibly grateful whenever art supply shops uh, give little gifts like this. Um, I know they probably do it for all their customers, and I just think that's really, really sweet. So I am super appreciative and very, very grateful. Um, but the main reason for this video is because I wanted to review the Brevia Cretacolor Urban Sketching Set. I was very curious about this set, and there weren't um, many reviews of it online. In fact, I think when I ordered this, there was only one, and it was just a small review capping what was in it. Um, and as I was really, really curious about a set like this, how it might function for me and how it might function for other people, I wanted to do a bit more of an in-depth review. So I'll go through what it includes. As you can see, it's got a Motolo One for All acrylic pump marker. It is 4 millimeters and it is in white. There is an Aqua to Go brush, uh, medium. There are three Clio fine art graphite pencils in 2H, 2B, and 4B. There is the Monolith graphite pencil in 6B, and it comes with a protective cap, which I believe can be moved between different pencils. Um, the graphite aquarelle pencil in 8B, three merino watercolor pencils in cadmium citron, permanent red dark, and Prussian blue, two Motolo lackliner fine liners in 0.1 millimeter and 0.3 millimeter. Two calligraphy Quinn fiber tip pens in brown and black. As you can see, one side has a calligraphy style tip, while the other has a more fine liner like tip, which is where you get to the only real problem that I had with this set off the bat, which was that this nib is bent. Now, I probably could have reached out and gotten a replacement, but I really couldn't be bothered, so I didn't. Um, so that's on me. Now, it comes with three Nero um, charcoal pencils in extra soft, soft, and medium, a white chalk pencil, and three pastel pencils in sanguine, sepia light, and sepia dark. And there are also a sharpener and an eraser included in this set. So it's just a plastic eraser and a sharpener with its own pack. I also brought the Milani journal. They are 300 GSM paper that is quite textured. It is just wood pulp, so couldn't hold a whole lot of water, but as it's just for a bit of an experiment, um, I thought it would be quite nice. And it was only, oh, I want to say $11. It was on sale. So it was very, very cheap. And yeah, definitely snapped that one up. It has a very, very nice soft cover. Like it's got like a fake leather texture, which is super, super soft. And I, yeah, I quite like it. There is a pocket in the back, just a small slip pocket. Um, and yeah, it's quite textured. There are 24 pages. It's, yeah, quite nice little journal. Nothing particularly special, but yeah, no, it's quite nice. I am glad I have it, and it's a nice size. Um, yeah, here I'm just swatching out all the items just to see them all. As you can see there, the bend on the tip of the calligraphy twin fiber tip isn't bad. It writes just fine. I didn't have any real problem with it there. So that was the main decider of why I didn't contact it. It seemed fine enough to work. And honestly, I'm just a little bit lazy. I couldn't be bothered dealing with that hassle. I didn't, it wasn't that big a deal. And yeah, it worked out fine. But yes, I do believe that is definitely something either reaching out to Artissi or even create a color themselves. I probably would have been able to get a replacement of some sort, but I didn't try, so yeah. But do keep that in mind, though I think all online purchases or even in shop you wouldn't be able to see the different qualities of the pencils and markers and fine liners, so something like that may crop up. It's just a matter of being proactive if you want to get it fixed. But I'm also swatching out the two free paints that I got, testing out their scrubbing capabilities, and messing around with different textures to see how that looks. And it works really well, and there's no peeling on the paper. It cleared up pretty well, so yeah, for a wood pulp paper, it's decently, it handles decently well. And they're quite nice paints. They're very vibrant. Um, so far, I'm pretty happy with my haul and my little swatch. As you can see, the water has bent the page, but once it fully dried and, you know, closed it all up together, forcibly flattened it down, and worked out quite nice. And for travel purposes, I kept those protective pads in there to keep everything nice. That's how they was sent to me. So I kept it in there just to try and make sure everything stayed safe while I traveled with it, which was the purpose for all of this. I was going on a holiday, and so I wanted some supplies to travel with, and I thought this would make it easier. I want to test it out, then I can review it. If it's terrible, I can let everyone know. And if it's good, I can let everyone know. As it is, it's pretty mixed bag. Um, but yeah, so this is now after I've been on holiday. So I have an actual thoughts on all the different products. Now, I did take these two paints with me, so it is a little unfair to include them, but they're really, really nice watercolor paints. So I may get some more, I'm not sure. But starting off, the eraser is an eraser. It's nothing special. It does what it's supposed to do. Yeah, so it's fine. It's not fantastic. It's not terrible. It's just an eraser. Now, the sharpener I quite liked. It sharpened really well. I thought it was really good. And so, yeah, happy to have that as well. And now I'll get into a bit of a sketchbook flip through while also explaining the different um, materials and how I found them to work. I do believe this first sketch I only used the zero point 0.1, but both of these fine liners were really, really nice. I found out also that they were waterproof once they were dry. They would not be moved by water, no bleeding. So that was fantastic. Um, Yeah, they're really nice. They work really well. This particular drawing of mine is not my best. I drew it at dinner, on the corner of the table. So it's a bit shaky. But getting more into the details here, the watercolor pencils work really well, both as pencils, but as when they're wet as well. They blend really nicely. I used a lot of the blue and the yellow mixed together, mixing them on the page, just like drawing down and painting over them, with water, and they they blended really, really well. They are really, really impressive. I Yeah, I used a lot of the watercolor pencils in the end. They were very, very good. Um, and yeah, no, definitely happy with these. They blend really well. They work really, really good together. Um, but yeah, the calligraphy pens, I found out that they were not waterproof, unlike the fine liners, which was a bit annoying. Um, it is something I learned to deal with. As you can see, the nib there didn't get any worse. So, it just is what it is. But yeah, the pens are not waterproof, which meant they were definitely the last thing to use. Um, but they're really nice, rich colors, and they work really well. They quite stand out and striking, on the page, and they leave, very interesting texture. They're decent. I don't think I would buy them again, but they weren't bad to play around with. Now I did find while I really do like these watercolor pencils, sometimes I just wanted a more striking red, so I would often grab a bit of the vermilion, just because the red, once it was wet, wasn't as bright as I would have liked. Um, but that is something that is known about watercolor pencils, so I don't blame the pencil. It's more on me, and I had the paint there, so I could lean into it. But I will say, these pastel pencils I really, really loved. I used these a lot, much like the watercolor pencils, and I was messing around with them, and I found adding water to them was kind of cool. It made like a really cool vibe. I could move them around a little bit with water. Yeah, no, I really appreciated that. I didn't know that that was a thing. Um, on the other hand, though, this acrylic paint marker was not the best. I was not very impressed with it. It's not very strong. I don't think I would buy it again. Definitely not on its own. Yeah, and the white chalk pencil was pretty terrible. I've used white regular pencil and it's so much stronger, but I also have another white chalk pencils that are significantly better. So that one was a bit disappointing. But here I played with the watercolor again. This was a copy of some graffiti. And yeah, I went over even the charcoal pencil there, with the water tip, which is really, really good. I'm sorry I'm not showing it in camera enough. I'm obviously not focused enough. I'm sorry about that. But no, it worked pretty well. Um, the only thing that I really should be more concerned about is putting slips or something between the pages so they don't rub onto each other. Um, I will say with the charcoal pencils, I wish I had a hard. I don't feel the need for an extra soft. I would prefer a hard. I'm just used to having soft, medium, and hard charcoal pencils, and I usually default to soft and hard, because there's a nice difference between them. So that was a bit annoying, and I ended up using the soft charcoal pencil the most. Um, I actually misplaced the medium one. It fell down the couch of where I was staying. So that one, I thought I'd lost it for a little while. So it didn't get much use for a while. Um, but no, the pastel pencils and the brown uh, calligraphy pen worked really nicely together. I would definitely think I'll do some more drawings like that. Um, with different shades of brown. It's actually really, really nice and not something I've done a lot of. So I definitely think I will have to mess around with that. Um, and the graphite pencils were quite nice. They're quite nice graphite pencils. Um, and most of them are different enough from each other to give really nice and interesting shades of gray. Um, I will say the monolith pencil is very interesting to use because of how heavy it is. I wasn't expecting it to be that heavy, but it definitely feels strange working with it. That's probably a personal preference. But yeah, I didn't quite like it because it is so heavy. It just seems really strange. Maybe if I used it more, I'd get used to it, but I tended to not use it because of that. Um, but like I said, I used a lot of the blue and the yellow because I was staying at the beach, so a lot of beach scenes. And I used a lot of the different pastel pencils to get shades of brown and the like in the sand and different bits and pieces. Um, I tended to default to the zero point 0.1 fine liner as well, but I was happy to have both because they could work really well in tandem. As you can see, I used these pencils a lot and I did add significant amount of water to them as we went. And obviously, they don't blend like watercolor pencils, but it stops them l- bleeding onto the other page and also moves some of the pigment around. Um, and I thought it was really, really nice. I didn't know they worked like that, so I definitely appreciate that. Um, but as you can see, the different graphite pencils worked really well. There's enough of a difference between most of them that you can get these different shades. Though I will say, between the 2B and the 4B, there's not enough difference for me to really feel like we need both. And it's the same with the charcoal pencils. I don't think there's a significant enough difference between the three of them that they matter, and I really am missing the heart. Um, but just with that page, as you saw, there was a nice purple mix from the red and the blue watercolor pencils. I know purple is a hard color to get, so I was happy to have that. Now this is a bit of a cheat page, obviously, because I'm using paints that are not in the actual kit that I'm reviewing. But it did get allow me to see how different things work. Like it just really sunk in that I don't like the um one for all paint pen. I don't think it's very good, but the calligraphy brush is quite nice. This was playing around with the graphite some more. Again, there's some smudging because I don't have any. Usually, I literally use baking paper and stick that between the pages. I didn't have any of that while I was on holiday, so they marked up each other, but it's fine and it worked. Um, but yeah, like I said, they work really well in tandem, though I don't think there's enough of a difference between the 2B and the 4B. That might be an overall thing. I don't know. I will say though, moving on to the next page, you can get a really nice color mixing the red dark and the sanguine pastel pencil. It's kind of crazy. And you can also get so many fantastic greens. I love all the greens I can make, and they don't leave streaks or anything like that. They blend out really nicely. And honestly, wetting the charcoal here as well it gives a really nice texture. I've never really tried wetting charcoal before, and I really like it. Now this page is a little bit different. I was inspired by a sculpture of an indigenous piece. Um, Ngarrindjeri, the creator. I will include a little link to a video by the actual Ngarrindjeri people. But it's the story of a great Dreamtime ancestral being, and his exploits shaped the creatures, the lore, dance, song, how to hunt, how to live, and he created the landscape for the 18 Ngarrindjeri of the Ngarrindjeri nation. This sculpture was by Kevin Kroppenjeder, made in 2002. I really liked it. I took a picture of it so I could draw it later. I included the information that was on the tab, and I will link it to the video by the Ngarrindjeri people um, below if you're interested. You can definitely look into that more. It's a little bit off topic, but both of the calligraphy brushes worked really, really nicely there um, to replicate that. So yeah, yeah, back on topic. The one for all picked up a lot of color from other things, and this ended up being the scribble for page to get rid of it. Um, this here is my favorite page. It is of Jean-Jacques Beach, which is in Geelong, and yeah, no, I did that one. Plein air. I really, really, really freaking liked it. Um, a lot of these things I really loved, and a lot of these things I would never use again. This fine liner, really nice little quick sketch scene. Could get some really nice colors from the different mixes. Now, those flowers there, I did include a little bit of the other colors, so it's a bit of a cheat, but it does look really nice, and the green is freaking phenomenal. I could get a really nice pink just from wetting the red, not drawing too much of it down and lightly layering it, and it's a beautiful pink. So having the three primary colors is stunning. Now that's the aquarelle pencil. Um, Used added water to it, and that is really, really, really friggin' nice. This was also actually a beach scene, but the way the sun was positioned, the ocean looked completely grey. Even the sand did. Um, and this was the lighthouse at Port Adelaide. It's a pretty unique lighthouse design. I did find here the red just wasn't strong enough to do what I wanted. So I did cheat and use a bit of the vermilion that I had on hand. Um, but I still really liked it. And as you can see, the blue is freaking fantastic. Um, and again, blue's really, really nice. The one for all is it feels useless. Um, that's all I have in the book so far. I hope you liked all those images. But in reviewing the book, I do have a really, really, really strange thing between the signatures of the book. It was like it was stuck cardboard, and so when you open each signature, the two pages are almost stuck together, and you have to rip them apart, and it leaves like a cardboard mark. It's very, very strange, and I accidentally dirtied that page. Um, and I also spilt coffee on the book. We don't need to talk about that, though I am going to show you. But yeah, so the journal itself, I quite like, except for that weird little bit. It's a travel journal that is just for funsies. I Yeah, I recommend it. It was really cheap, nice on sale. Has a good little pocket. That's a little bit of seaweed from the beach that I liked. But going through the items, I hate these two. I will not use them. I probably will take them out of the kit because they're just wasting space. Um, and the eraser is fine. These are all the things that are fine. Nothing to write home about. But they're, good enough. I will use them. I'll continue to use them, but I wouldn't buy them again. They're fine. The monolith is probably the one that's like teetering on the edge of not liking, just because of how heavy it is. It's strange. And there's nothing particularly wrong with these charcoal pencils. I just don't like that there's not a hard one, so I'm taking it out on the other ones. Um, But again, they're fine, they're usable. Now on to the stuff that I really liked. These watercolor pencils, I'm actually interested in the Merino watercolor pencils, in buying the whole set just to see. Um, and I liked these ones a significant amount. I can't wait to use them more. The Aquarel graphite pencil, again, I really, really liked that. Um, and the brush was really good. I guess if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that you can stuff up an aqua brush. I didn't think you could, but you can. Um, and yeah, these fine liners are really nice. I do love that they are waterproof. That is always a bonus. And I also, yeah, I really love this sharpener. Um, but yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope that you learned something from this one. But yeah, thanks for watching. And if I'm lucky, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.